Hello, I'm back again with another video. Let's get on with it. I know I'm a little bit late in the game, but today we're going to talk about my 2024 TBR. Now you might want to buckle in because this is quite the long ride. I'm not going to include the books I've already read this year, although obviously they were technically on my TBR, but I feel like there's no point because they've already been read. So let's start off with Bridgerton. So I have the final 5 books to read, starting from To Sir Philip with Love up until Happily Ever After. So that's 5 books already on the grand total. I want to get into some classics this year. You're going to see a certain vibe in this next section of the TBR. I want to read The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So as a kid, I was actually kind of scared of the Lord of the Rings, so my dad told me never to watch it until I was older because I would let that put me off the actual story. And it's almost like he's my father and he knows me pretty well. I didn't watch it, and then literally about 2 years ago I watched it for the first time. I was obsessed and I loved it, and I was like, I can't believe I've never even read the book. This is crazy. So 2024 is the year that we're going to read the books. That takes us to a grand total of 9 so far. Next we have the Harry Potter series. Now I've read this on and off as a kid and I definitely love the books, but there are lots of patches where I can't really remember reading them. I can't really remember. I was a kid. Give me a break, you know. But this year I want to go back and I want to read them all again. So that is also on my TBR list. So that adds another 7 to the books. But I'm so excited. Stay tuned for that. All of these books we can talk about together, do some reviews. Now this is definitely the classics section. About 3 years ago I tried to read Wuthering Heights. I was not prepared for it. I was not in the headspace, so I stopped, but I'm going to come back to it this year. So I'm going to read Wuthering Heights. I also would love to read Pride and Prejudice. I can never say that word right. Prejudice. Just comes out weird. You know what I mean. To Kill a Mockingbird, Anna Karenina. I really want to read this. It's quite intimidating. It's quite the chunkers book, but I'm very much excited. And I also think I got the Wordsworth Classic for about £1, £2, and I was like, it's gotta be done. Dracula, so I really want to read Dracula. It's gonna be my first sort of horror, more like gothic style. I'm a little bit nervous, but I am excited because the edition that I got for Christmas, the cover is just so, it's not even an edition I don't think, but the cover is just so pretty and I'm just obsessed and I can't wait to read it. I've wanted to read for a long time The Picture of Dorian Gray. That is also on the TBR, as well as Sense and Sensibility. So in the classics section we have 7 more books. This next mini section, this author is kind of controversial in a way. Some people love her, some people hate her. I particularly really like her book. This is the Leigh Bardugo section. Now I read Shadow and Bone trilogy and I was absolutely obsessed. I'm not going to talk about what they did in the show because I don't agree, but you know, it is what it is. The best part about the show is the fact that Ben Barnes is in it. Claps for Prince Caspian. I've had these books on my shelf for a long time and I need to read them, but when you kind of have a series and you put them all together, I just sometimes don't want to touch them, but I need to touch them. I want to read the Six of Crows duology, so that's the Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. And then I also have another duology, which is Kings of Scars and Rule of Wolves. Now there's also a standalone in there called Ninth House, which I have because I think somebody realised I liked her as an author and bought me another one of her books. That's also on the TBR. It's not as much of a priority as the other books, but if I get around to reading it this year, I will not complain, you know? Other books on my shelf include The Atlas Six, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. I also need to read the 4th book from Richard Osman. Ooh, what is that one called? The Last Devil to Die. I love his book, so I'm really excited. It was just a big thick one, so a big thick one because I like reading, that sounds a bit weird. I like reading the hardbacks for that series. I will be excited to read that when I return home. I also want to read the Twisted Love series. That's 4 books. And whilst we're on Anna Huang, I'd also like to read the Kings of Sin series 2. Honestly, there's so many going on. I'm like thinking of more books as we go along. I also have the Shatter Me series at home, which I would really like to read. I think there's like 9 books in that whole series. That is quite a lot. That definitely ramps the total up, but I'm not going to be mad if I don't read the whole series, but I'd like to at least try it. I also have the Hooked series, so there's 4 books in that series. Before the Coffee Gets Cold, I read the first one at the start of the year, but I'd like to read the other parts, and I believe there's 3 other books. I'd like to read Divine Rivals as well. There's quite a few TikTok books I'd like to read. We'll see how we go with them, because obviously we've got a lovely big supply of books at home already to be read, so I would rather get through those first and then start buying more books. So maybe you can come along with me and I can make some videos of basically getting myself through my TBR, and then we can do some book shopping. Obviously, I have to mention the A Court of Thorn and Roses series. I'm almost finished book 3, so I've only got 2 left of those, but if you count the whole series, that's 5 books on the TBR. And then there's definitely a few sequels scattered around of books that I want to read, so there's also more books that I could read if I wanted to. There's definitely a few books in my shelves that have sequels that I haven't read yet. That's also something that could be on the agenda, but I think we'll get through what's on here first and then we'll start the sequels. So basically what I'm saying is wish me luck, because I'm gonna have to do a heck of a lot of reading this year. But that's exactly the way I like it. Come along on the journey. We'll do lots of videos about ticking off videos on a TBR. I hope this inspires you to monitor your TBR, see how you're getting on this year. On my TBR, without any extras, there's a grand total of 61 books. Technically 2 of those have already been read, almost 3, so if we're being completely honest, it's about 58. That's a lot, and we might not get it all done this year, but we're going to try our best and we're going to absolutely go for it. Here's to reading 58 more books this year. Terrifying when you say it like that. I have confidence in us. I believe in us. It will be almost doubling our amount of books read last year. I feel like the pace I've been going has been really good, so I'm excited. Well, thank you so much for watching. That was another video, super chill vibe, just talking about our to be read list. What have you got on your list? What's number 1 at the moment? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up, smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, until tomorrow, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!